So I gotta say, uncensored full body horror was not something I knew that I needed prior to this episode walking into Bleach. But after seeing it in Bleach, I realized, yeah, I absolutely needed to see it. And I do have to imagine, given how a lot of these old school battle shonens were directed. Now, as I say, I read Bleach up till this arc, so I don't know where the arc goes, but everything prior I read in manga form. And just kind of thinking about even the arcs that came before, like it never really gave me the impression it pulled Uzumaki at one point. But even comparing how old school Naruto or One Piece, and I imagine Bleach did it, I doubt if this arc came out very similar in terms of timeline as the original anime, it would have looked like this. It would have been censored. It probably would have had a lot of shortcuts, like maybe not black bars, but a lot of not really showing how grotesque it is, because Mayuri casually giving birth, summoning a baby, which then rips apart to bring out another baby, to consume a couple of giant hands of the Soul King, was not on my bingo card this week. And honestly, had Uzumaki not aired, this would easily be the most disturbing thing of this anime season, because what the hell? The fact that the only character on the hero side to actually win so far this season is Mayuri kind of speaks volumes to the fact that, yeah, we gotta play dirty, because dirty's the only way we're gonna get a W, apparently, because, bruh. I got full live reactions over on Patreon if you want to see my mind break in real time to this insanity known as Bleach over there exclusively. So, last week, I said it, one of, if not my personal favorite fights that I've seen in Thousand Year Blood War. I'm not saying it was the biggest fight, but they just really handled it well. So what were they going to do this week? Well, they casually, and I mean it, they casually nerf Kenpachi. So initially, when he rushes up to whatever the hell we were gonna fight, you know, a lot of convulsions, it's just, the thing was not looking normal, but I'm like, it's Kenpachi, he's gonna be okay. And I was like, oh shit, like, he almost lost his arm, because they quickly flash what looks to be like wires. I was like, okay, that could have been bad. No, it was bad, and his arm is twisting and turning, and I'm like, oh, okay, well that ain't good. But he's Kenpachi. Not only does he have to rip his own arm off, because it just keeps it's a goddamn helicopter blade, man. It's just going crazy. Apparently, it doesn't matter if you rip your arm off. His whole body is just absolutely screwed. It's basically probably twisting from the inside out. So, Mayuri comes in and fingers an eyeball on his sword, and it causes a paralysis. Bastard is right. Like, he's just like, you bastard. He's like, yeah, probably a reasonable reaction. Maybe you could have done that before, like a little early or something. Is what it is. But to be honest, just given the track record of everyone, I didn't really expect a W. I was, waiting for the moment where because here's the thing with a character like Mayuri. Crazy bastard. All about the experiment, all about the scientific discovery. So I'm expecting, if anything, head cleanly cut off with a giant grin on his punk ass face. And what happens instead? No, he just gets a massive W. At this point, I truly wonder why we even send Ichigo up there. Just send this crazy bastard. He'll give birth a couple of times and we'll be home for dinner by 5 p.m. I'm half joking, but Jesus, like, that's the vibes I'm getting. And when it comes to, like, the body horror, it's not an exaggeration to say, like, this was actually body horror. So the initial, like, first bit, it's like, okay, that's creepy. But when it's just the animation to it all, I think that's really what does it. Rather than, like, a specific image in the episode. It's just like, okay, it's a fat-ass baby. It's like, yeah, I mean, baby's gross to begin with, but it is what it is. We got, like, a miniature Buddha going on here. But it's the way it moves, and it transforms into that, and how it rips to then have a second version of itself. It's just very, very disturbing. And I think, honestly, what kind of adds to the horror is actually the 3D of the hand. Now, here's the thing. Half the time, and especially when the initial shot of the hand came up, it actually looked completely 2D, like there was no 3D. But I'd say every other scene, you can tell it's a 3D hand moving around. But I do think it's like one of those cases where it actually adds to the weirdness, the out of pocketness, the kind of like this doesn't belong in our world sort of vibe. It never looks bad. I think the purple atmosphere and the purple tinge to the color palette of the character design makes it blend in fairly well, and it moves well. But it is a 3D object, and I think it just kind of adds to it because it's just such a weird alien-like scene. It's like, this shouldn't exist. This ain't normal. What the hell? And then a baby comes in and eats that shit like it's a chicken wing. It just kind of adds to the weirdness, and it's a legitimately creepy scene. Now, it's not something that's giving me nightmare fuel, but it is body horror that I didn't expect or know I needed. But yeah, uncensored is the only way to go, because I'm just imagining comparing so many different scenes from older anime that have, and I've seen counterparts of what it should have looked like, and it's just like, there's no way it would have looked like this, like however many years back it would have been if it naturally continued after a normal break, right? Like the way One Piece does stuff when it catches up and, you know, stuff like that. There's no way it would have looked this good. And there's a lot of stuff you can probably look at with 1000 Year Blood War and realize the fact that, hey, we're getting 4 cores split up basically every year, which allows for a consistent production that you wouldn't see. Like, just, we get the fights produced as well as they are, fleshed out, and it's not extended for 6 episodes because the anime studios caught up to the author, so they have to drag it out and have characters scream for 2 episodes straight because they got no other material to work with. Or the worst is when they catch up and they decide to do a side arc that has no relation to the main arc, and it's like, hey, we're at the end of the world, but so why are we going on vacation? Well, they have no material, so they had to do something. It's just like, the more I see of how they're handling 1000 Year Blood War, the more I can appreciate how carefully crafted it is. And the VAs, man, I mean, my ear's always been a very creepy bastard, like, just always has rubbed me the wrong way, but the VA does such a good job. You believe that he's actually just that enthusiastic about discovery, and that makes it all the more creepy. The fact that we can have Kenpachi casually lose an arm, get stabbed, and that's like not even the craziest thing we saw. It was the weird body mutation baby thing and how it mutate, like when it mutated from character design to hand, like what the crazy shit. Very good episode, and it's clearly only getting started, which is crazy to say given how many episodes we're now into the 1000 Year Blood War. Let me know your thoughts and feelings though down below. Leave a like if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new around here, of course ring that bell. Like I mentioned, we got those full live reactions over on Patreon, and hey, while you're over there, I'll also give you a video shout out. So today we got Shadow Clone Rex, Zane Zardox, Still Zero, Natasha Ann Henry, Agus TR, Leaf Solmond, Chitin Lord, and we also have Bill. So I appreciate the support, everyone. Please take care. You all have a good one.